Welcome back to Readability. If you didn't know already, this is a kid podcast that's all about reading. Don't know a good book to read? Visit Readability and I'll help you out. Every Saturday, I'll either read, review, or recommend different books just for you. Lay back and listen to this week's episode. Let's get started. Welcome back to Readability. I'm starting a new review on a recent series that I've come to adore and love. This would be the Sahdes of Magic Trilogy by Victoria Schwab, which is a very popular author. I've heard some good things about it, so I tried it out. I'm currently on the last book of the series, about 200 pages in, and I love it so much. As you'll see me talk about, there is so much to love and admire about the writing, the characters, the world, and really anything. Without further ado, let's get started with this review. In this world, there are 4 different Londons. Red London, full of magic. Grey London, our London, mundane and boring. White London, where people fight for the throne. And Black London, which was destroyed due to too much magic. Kel is a traveler, and Tari, the last of his kind who can travel between these different parallel universes. He's also a smuggler, which is definitely prohibited, but he does it anyways. And due to that, he is given a very important item. Through this item, in a way, he bumps into Delilah, or Lila, Bard. She's a cutthroat thief who lives in Grey London. Together, they have to uncover the secrets of the 4 Londons and the magic. Here are some basic facts. The author is V.E. Schwab, who also goes by Victoria Schwab. The book is usually 400 pages, but my version is 387 pages. The publishing brand is Time Books, and this is the first novel in the Sahdes of Magic Trilogy, the next one's being A Gathering Shadows, and the last one being A Conjuring of Light. If I had to rate this book, it would be an easy 5 stars. I was so immersed into this world that Schwab made and characters she created. I love it so much, and I was immediately ready to move on to the next book after reading this ending, which was beautiful. When reading, I just knew that this would make it up there as one of my favorites. It was such an easy 5 stars. Okay, overall, as I just said, this was astoundingly good. It's a short adventure that I loved a lot, and I loved all the characters in this novel, especially Kel and Lila, and the plot was super interesting. I don't want to go too deep into detail about it due to spoilers. The magic that Schwab introduced about Red London and Kel's and Tari magic abilities, I'm just a sucker for that kind of magic and fantasy, which is right up my alley. I will say that there are some themes that are a little more mature, and if I had to give this an age rating, it would be 13 or 14 plus. However, this all depends on your maturity level. Rye, Kel's brother, was so hilarious and sweet. The only thing, and I saw someone else mention this as well, is that there's a lot of convenience in the plot. Our main characters got out of hardships a little too quickly, which could probably be annoying to some readers. However, I'm still able to look past this kind of stuff and adore this book so much. I also thought that her writing style was so beautiful and easy to escape into. Yes, I just love this book so much. Alrighty, let's talk about these characters. Kel, the main character, is honestly really cool. I liked him a lot as a main character and a protagonist, which is really important. Unfortunately, let's be honest, without Lila, he would have gotten stuck in a lot of sticky situations. The differences between him mirroring Holland was really fascinating. Him and Lila worked really well together and make such a great pair. I really loved his dedication to his brother Rye and how much he cares about his city and the people he loves. Speaking of Lila, can we just mention how cool she is? I know some people don't like her, but I'm on the other end of the spectrum in that group of people who love her. Some of her lines are pretty funny and honestly really inspirational. There's a popular quote from this series from Lila herself. She says, "I'd rather die in an adventure than live standing still." Lila lives on adventure and is mainly one of my favorite characters in the series so far. Next, Athos, and Astrid, the 2 twin rulers in White London. Not going to spoil much about what happens to them or what they do, but wow, they freaked me out. Have you noticed in, twins in literature or even royalty are always evil, rude, etc.? That's definitely the case with the Danes. The last one for right now will be Rye, Kel's prince brother. Yes, Rye is perfection. He reminds me a lot of Nikolai in the sense that he's the comic relief prince brother, except some other stuff I won't say because spoilers. He has some really funny lines that I tabbed. I'll show his first lines in the book, actually. I think Schwab introduced him as a character really well in the novel. This is what I tabbed. "It's called birthday," chided King Maxon. "It's not birthdays, and certainly not a birth week." 20 years, counted Rye, waving his empty teacup. 20, a few days of celebration hardly seems excessive. Yeah, I knew I would love him by this first introduction. Standout scenes, time for some spoilers. Kel and Lila's first introduction to each other is so fitting. Lila stealing his secret black stone. Perfection. The whole room scene with the both of them was absolutely hilarious. Them together overall and their slowly building relationship, I think, was very well done. It's not too hard-hitting, in my opinion. The contrast between Kel's magical powers and Lila's thievery is really amazing, and their personalities also bash together really well. We get flashbacks to Athos, I never know, about a certain person he keeps, and it's absolutely terrifying. To put it in simple terms, Athos and Astrid stroll down the streets when Athos stops for the people to bow down to him, because of course he would do that. One boy chooses not to, big mistake, and Athos takes him to the palace to punish him. How does he do so? By carving words, symbols, I don't remember, specifically into his chest and torturing him. I'm glad Athos and Astrid are dead now. Speaking of that, yeah, Astrid and Athos dying really surprised me. As I was reading, I thought they would be constant threats throughout the series, and oh, how I was wrong. Holland's death. In my opinion, Holland is a very complicated character. Let me explain. Morally gray, in a way, as I would like to like him, but at the same time, I hate him with a burning passion. He does horrible things, but it's really only because he's forced to by Athos and Astrid's binding to him. When Kel kills him, he kind of wants to die. Really fills his face when he realizes he's free from these chains. It's kind of sad knowing what he has to go through. More death. Rye's almost death scene and how Kel creates his bond between them. This means if Kel dies, so will Rye. Not vice versa. However, Kel can feel pain. Rye also feels. This surprised me, and that sort of bond between them becomes such an important part of these two brothers' development. V.E. Schwab also uses that pain sharing thing for some comedic purposes, which I found pretty funny. The question is, would I recommend this book? Of course! I think anyone who is interested in fantasy would adore this book so much. If you also like a really good cast of characters and lots of adventure, this is also the book for you. Definitely take in consideration the age rating for this novel, just in case. But overall, yes, give it a try. I loved it so much. Alrighty, and that's a wrap of this review. I really hope you enjoyed. Next week, I'm hoping to talk about Season Storm, the second book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, so fingers crossed. Anyways, I'll see you all next week and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye, and keep reading, folks.